We are breaking into programming to give you the latest on a mass shooting in downtown Sacramento. According to Sac PD, 15 people have been shot and 6 are dead. It happened on 10th and K Street. Right now, roads on 9th and 13th Street are closed between L and J Street. ABC 10's Luke Cleary has been on the scene all morning. Luke, what can you tell us? Where are you and what have you seen?
Monica, we are standing on the corner of 9th and K Streets in what was a busy downtown Sacramento, the scene of a mass shooting. Sacramento police say that 6 people have died, another 15 people are hurt, and I'm just going to step out so you can see toward the corner where we believe that this happened sometime around 2 this morning. As you can see there, Sacramento Police Department squad cars, investigators on that corner. This happened around 2 in the morning when people were coming out of the popular bars and clubs in this area, which has really kind of had a resurgence since some of the COVID restrictions have fallen off in the last few months. So people out enjoying their evening when witnesses describe a terrifying scene moments after this shooting happened. Multiple people, again, 15 people hurt. Another 6 people were killed, and many onlookers, witnesses here for just a terrifying scene that unfolded. We've been speaking with Barry Axius of Voice of the Youth, and he made his way here very quickly after learning about this situation. What did you hear? What brought you out here? And once you arrived, Barry, what did you see?
What brought me out here, I got a call, and I came down to assist in any way possible. And then like I said, the first thing I saw was, young girls struggling with what was happening, coping with what was happening, blood all over their bodies. One of the most, traumatic things that I saw is one of the young girls running back a few hours after the situation and saying that she had held her sister for the last time and watched her die. And, you just can't take that kind of emotion out from seeing that, watching that young girl dealing with that, and just other family members trying to find out what happened. And just continuing to hear the victim count, right? You hear 3, you hear 5, and you hear now 6, and then the multiple people that got shot. This is a tragedy. Could it have been prevented? Who knows? But I think that a lot of us, when we do this kind of work, we've been saying the same kind of thing, like what more needs to be happening? What more needs to be done? What more do we need to see as we continue to say that the violence is no longer centered in certain areas? The violence has spread. The gun violence here in this community is not centered in these deemed areas that are poverty-ridden. The drama and the trauma comes everywhere. We're no longer safe in our community until we start figuring out what we're going to do to stop gun violence and take these illegal guns off the streets.
Barry, you've been working in this town and in this space in violence prevention for a long time. You've seen many scenes of heartbreak playing out. You've spoken to many victims of gun violence and their families. But have you ever seen something quite of this scale? We understand 6 people have died here, another 15 hurt in what is actually meets the description of a mass shooting happening right here in downtown Sacramento. Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
In our city, no. The magnitude of it, in the location, no. But we've seen it. We've seen it in our communities, the communities that are not looked upon or invested in. So we've seen this tragedy. So we're not, we're not used to it here. But for us to do the work, we're used to seeing this. Now it's here. Now it's in the face. It's in the public. It's no longer hiding behind corners. It's right here in our face. And the same conversations that we've been having over and over and over again, assessing what can we do, talking about investments, talking about opportunity, talking about access. We've said eventually the problem is going to be everyone's problem because it's going to go away from the corners that you say, we're not worried about it. It's going to be right in front of your face. So now it's right in front of our face. 6 people dead. And this is not the first shooting that we've had downtown. This is not the second shooting that we've had downtown. We've had multiple incidents that happened downtown in the last 2 years. And this is the most tragic one that we've ever seen. 6 dead, 15 victims. the endless amounts of trauma and pain that people will be struggling in. I hope that folks know that we're going to get through this. I feel like it's more of an isolated situation, but there is issues that we have in our communities, and they are reaping, and we're seeing it right here. And again, this is totally unfortunate. Like, my heart goes out to every single victim, because this should not be happening in our city, and we have to get these illegal guns off the streets. We just have to.
Barry, I know that in your work you're engaging with police, interfacing with them as you engage in this violence prevention work. I know you don't want to say anything that could potentially compromise the police investigation, but can you talk about the investigation at this stage? What are officers doing out over there, detectives? What is, to the best of your knowledge, what's unfolding right now as we stand on this side of the police tape?
They're just trying to figure out what actually happened. A lot of people want to say that there was a fight that happened. It was not. Has nothing to do with a fight. You know, this situation, from me assessing it and looking at it the way I'm looking at it, definitely isolated, definitely targeted. The unfortunate part about when you have situations and people have other beefs that come down, or people are in these kind of moments, guns and bullets have no names, and this is a problem. Right? I'm not saying take guns away from people. I'm saying we have to take illegal guns away from the stupid people that have the guns that shouldn't have the guns. These are the things I'm trying to say, that we need to invest in our community. We need to invest in the people before they do something so senseless. This is a senseless act of violence that has become a mass shooting. So what anyone decided who was doing this, what they got was what they got. Now here we are in this moment. So, like, I just wish that we would get to a place where we're not reactionary, and that we were more on point on how we were going to deal with this situation ahead of time, before, you know what I mean? So this is a reality that we're facing now. If we're continuing to be reactionary, we're going to continue to have these moments happen. If we're proactive, you're not going to have these moments happening. And these are the things that we continue to say. We have to invest in people, we have to invest in communities, and we have to get these illegal guns off the streets.
Barry, I know that your work with victims, your work in this space will continue. I thank you for sharing some of your views and your experience this early morning. I know you've been here since about 2, when shortly after this happened. It will be a long night.
But this is also what we have to understand. Though this is a day that we are dealing with this, the trauma and the lifetime scars that the family members who lost a loved one, they have to deal with this for a lifetime. And I think that we lose that in the equation of dealing with this. The victims, what happens to their names after we're done talking about them as a news story? What do we have to deal with when the family members have to cope with, I'm no longer going to see my loved one? There's young people that got killed today, and it's unfair, and we have to do something better about it.
Yeah, it's an absolutely tragic situation, heartbreaking for families involved. Thank you, Barry, for sharing some of your thoughts and your experience and your views this morning. Monica, I just want to bring you back in here, and we are again on the corner of 9th and K Streets in downtown Sacramento. Barry, speaking about the victims, and there are many. 15 hurt, 6 people confirmed deceased. That is from the Sacramento Police Department. We've been following their Twitter feed. We are actually standing right now at a media briefing staging area, so we're starting to see more and more other local news media arrive here as we await a public information officer who can kind of talk us through what they know, what they're able to share publicly at this time as they work the scene. And again, this is a very large scene. I'm going to read through their tweets